Let's start with the challenger, Mark Magsayo. 23-0, 16 of his wins have come by knockout. He is, of course, fighting from the Philippines. Mark, if you would, let the people know about how training camp has been going and your thoughts on facing the champion, Gary Russell Jr.
First of all, I would like to thank Shoshan and BBC and Showtime for making this fight happen. And for this training camp, I've been training for 3 months and 3.5 months. So I will prepare. I will prepare for this fight. Will prepare. Yeah.
Fantastic. And now let me introduce the champion, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. 31-1, 18 knockouts. As I said at the top, the longest reigning current world champion in the sport of boxing. He fights out of Capitol Heights, Maryland. He will be making the 6th defense of his WBC featherweight crown. Champ, if you would, let people know how camp has been going and your thoughts on returning to the ring.
Oh, man. Camp has been hectic, man. There's been a lot going on. You know, Pops, he been dealing with amputation. He got his foot amputated. He's my coach as well as my dad. I've been somewhat training myself, and then my father, his health isn't the best, so he's getting in the gym as much as possible. But we grinding, man. We ready. No complaints, no whine. We gonna get to it.
Well, let's talk about this fight before we get to members of the media. And Champ, let me start with you because, you know, this is a question you get all the time. And you probably get this question. If you weren't as talented as you are, people probably wouldn't ask you this question. But they want to see you more often. And generally, we only see Gary Russell Jr. once a year. When we see you on January 22nd, it will be nearly 2 years since we've seen Gary Russell Jr. Tell us why.
I mean, the fans as well as the media have to hold themselves somewhat responsible for that. I've been willing to compete against whoever, whenever, wherever. But I can't force these guys to get in the ring and fight me. You know, I supposed to competed against Brave August. I want to say about a year ago. But next thing I know, I see him competing on Canelo's undercard. So I can't make these guys get in the ring. All I can do is prepare myself to the best of my ability. Like I say, I need a dancing partner. I can't go in the ring and shadow box.
Mark, listen, the last time we saw you was back in August. And, man, you had this tremendous comeback knockout win against Julio Ceja. What did you learn from that fight that you can take into this fight with Gary Russell Jr.?
I learned a lot of that fight of Ceja for the fight, as that give a lesson how to box, how to win the fight, how to adjust the fight in the middle of the fight. So I think I will prepare for this coming fight for Gary Russell because I respect him. He's a world champion, but this coming January 22, I'm gonna win the fight.
Gary, you mentioned the fight with Ray Vargas. And again, we heard your name, I think, over the past year a couple of times. There was talk that maybe Gary Russell Jr. may move up to 130, fight Chris Colbert. There was even talk about possibly Tank Davis at one point. Why stay at 126? Why Magsayo?
I'm at 26 right now because I am the champion. I don't mind fluctuating my weight. It doesn't make sense to me to move up in weight and fight for a contender spot. If I'm going to move up in weight, I'd rather move up and fight the champion. That's it. That's all. It's a waste of my time to move up and fight just to stand in line. You know, the reason why I'm fighting Magsayo is because he fought his way up the rankings to challenge the champion, and he is now the #1 contender. He is the next best guy to the champion. Everyone that I've been competing against has been the next best guy to the champion because I could not get in the ring with another world champion, whether in my weight division as a unification match or in the bigger weight division for another opportunity for me to challenge for the title.